In our previous Sunday homilies, we've been focusing on the theme, learning the art of recommitment. In the first week, we spent time in the desert with Jesus, learning how to handle testing and trials of this world with Jesus' help. We then journeyed up the mountain, where Jesus revealed to us his amazing glory and invited us to listen to him. This week, we are courageously meeting Jesus at the well, together with the Samaritan woman. Here, we seek his help so we can be healed and restored. In my recent travels to Africa, I had the joy of attending my friend's ordination to the priesthood. You can find the video online and maybe catch me tapping my feet while people around me were singing, dancing, and shouting for joy. In Swahili, I didn't know what was going on, but I tapped my feet. When we're here at Mass, we're united with people around the world who are praying the same prayers, listening to the same words from scriptures, and singing the same songs, the same psalms. We're united with those fellow Catholics I met across the world and beyond. The Mass, Jesus' gift to us, takes us beyond both distance and time. This is important since it's what Jesus intended for us, to unite us into the communion of saints. We see that happening in the story of the woman at the well. Jesus was tired after his journey. He sat down by the well thirsty, hungry, and worn out. He was so thirsty that he ignored all social protocol and asked a Samaritan woman to give him a drink. Jewish men at that time just didn't casually do this, partly because wells were often the locations where the patriarchs in the Bible met their future wives. For example, Moses and Zipporah, Isaac and Rebekah, and Jacob and Rachel. They all met one another at a well. So when Jesus approached the Samaritan woman, the disciples stopped in their tracks to see what was happening. And of course, we know that Jesus was not looking to settle down and marry her in the traditional sense. There's something more happening here. The Samaritan woman came to the well at noon, the hottest hour of the day. The other women of the village would have come in the cooler hours of early morning and evening. This woman was a social outcast, avoiding contact with her peers. She was distraught and left on her own. But she also represented the entire people of Samaria, which was a collection of 5 nations forced together by the Assyrian Empire. Just like she had 5 previous husbands, each of these 5 nations worshipped a different god. 5 husbands, 5 nations worshiping a different god. And even Baal, one of the names for Baal that was worshipped, was husband. This encounter of Jesus at the well with the Samaritan woman, it has a marriage quality to it, since a well is where a groom would meet his bride. Like a bridegroom who is seeking his bride, Jesus wants this Samaritan woman to be reunited with God. He tells her that he is the long-awaited Messiah. And through her, Jesus invites the Samaritan people who were separated from the people of Israel to return to their true bridegroom. And this is especially important since Samaria was the first point outside of the land of Israel in spreading the gospel to the whole world, to bring all nations in. In the same way, Jesus invites all of us to come to him with courageous hearts. At times, we might feel like the Samaritan woman, stuck in our sinfulness, our guilt and shame, but we can confidently trust in God's love and mercy. He wants us to be healed and restored, to return to full communion with him. He wants us to be united as his church. So as we continue our Mass, this wedding banquet of the Lamb, let's give thanks for Jesus' personal invitation to each of us. Let us go from here joyfully proclaiming that Jesus is the Savior of the world.